Now then, who remembers when networking meant those awkward, I don't know, bars, name badges, lanyards, and trying to juggle a glass of white wine with a business card you weren't sure anybody wanted? Anybody remember that? Well, those days aren't completely gone. Well, maybe the business cards are. But there is good news. Networking has had a glow up. And these days, you can do it in your PJs, on your sofa, with your dog snoring next to you and the kettle boiling in the background. Why? Well, the truth is that most meaningful professional connections now start online. LinkedIn in particular has become the global networking hub, a place where you can meet peers, mentors, collaborators, or even future employers without ever leaving the house. So the new room we walk into is no longer one of those big conference halls. It's a post, a thread, or a direct message. But just because it's comfier doesn't mean it's effortless. It doesn't just happen on its own. So networking in your PJs still requires a bit of strategy, consistency, and humanity. So if you're thinking about this and thinking, yeah, networking in my PJs sounds particularly good for me, here is how to do it fearlessly. Number one, show up consistently. So, I always think, we're supposed to brush our teeth 2 minutes in the morning, 2 minutes in the evening, consistently brush them. And I think, networking, it's not just about waiting for, say, one big event. On LinkedIn, it's a bit like brushing our teeth. Every day is an opportunity to connect. And that means posting your thoughts, sharing articles, commenting on what others are saying. Visibility compounds over time. The more you show up, the more people will start to see you as part of the conversation. So that leads me on to point number 2, which is to engage, not broadcast. The irony of this is that I am broadcasting. Okay. The temptation online is to talk at people, but the real magic, I think, happens in dialogue. Ask questions in your posts, reply thoughtfully to comments, and be curious about other people's perspectives. They call it social media for a reason. It's sociable, and that can happen in a professional environment. So just like at an on-person event, don't be the person that only talks about themselves. Nobody likes that person, right? So number 3, remember that networking, it's not transactional. It's not just to be there when you want something. Networking, the best networks grow over time. So my third thing is to sort of think about what value you give rather than what you get. Relationships, they grow through time and through generosity, sharing resources, being a community, recommending people, celebrating each other's wins, making introductions where you can. People remember who lifted them up. And that goodwill, I think, comes back, but do it without thinking something's going to come back. Yeah. So number 4, my fourth point is, don't forget that we are humans. We're not like, we're not robots. We're not, we're not just these perfect things, And I think the beauty of networking online, networking in your PJs, is that you don't have to wear a mask. You can be you. I think, and I think a lot of people kind of like worry about this, but I do think authenticity beats polish every time. If you think of the things that are most successful on social media, it's not the really polished posts, it's the ones that have the most humanity in them. And I think, so networking is, I think it's you create deeper connections with authenticity. So how do you do that? Well, I think it's, share the lessons you've learned, the mistakes you've made, the moments that shaped you. That's what makes people connect with you, not just, oh, here's my CV. And my last point today is about networking, and it goes for whether you're networking in your PJs or whether you meet somebody in person at a formal networking event, is don't forget to follow up and deepen the connection. It's not a one-hit wonder. Networking isn't about a single exchange. It's about building trust over time. If you connect with somebody in the comments, then follow up with a message to them. If you admire somebody's work, tell them, connect and compliment. If you had a great conversation, suggest a virtual coffee. Relationships move forward when you take the next step. So the next time you think, I really should be out there working the room, well, that's as well as maybe. But remember, the room, a very important room, is right here, right now, online. You don't necessarily need a canapé or a commute. You just need intention, courage, and a willingness to engage. So, yeah, and the best bit is you can do it in your pajamas. Okay, let me know what you think about this, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.